So this is the name of the scholarship, is the QuestBridge. So we've given each parent a copy of the scholarship so they can see it. All right, so it's the QuestBridge scholarship. All right, so you start in September.
Well, I mean, your first application deadline is in September, so I would recommend starting even earlier than that, in junior year, because deadlines are really important here, and you need to have everything submitted like ASAP, right? And the easier the better. The more you get done, the better it is for you. So the initial process is just like submitting essays and recommendations, sending in test scores and whatnot in early.
So when you say recommendation, like how many? Just one teacher or?
So you need 2 teacher recommendations and 1 recommendation from your guidance
In
counselor.
September. So what happens, just quickly, if we're playing a deadline game, what happens if you ask the teacher for this recommendation letter in September?
Then they'll probably laugh at you.
So you have to plan the recommendation letter in advance.
You really need to be speaking with
And
these
I remember
teachers
the
that are
beginning of
writing
this evening I
in
said
June.
one of the school teachers said she gets 400 requests. 400 requests in a 1-month period. So you need to make sure that you get this letter. Will they review your application if you're missing components to it?
No, you need to have like the entire application in order for it to be reviewed. Although I said that it's a smaller, it's smaller in terms of the size of scholarships, and what I mean by that is how many people apply. What's different about this is that it's also very competitive though, right? I don't know the exact figures, but I'll tell you that about 12 to 15% of kids actually end up being matched to schools in the early decision round of this scholarship program.
Can you help me go over timelines? So in September of this year, so let's put your child X.
Yeah.
So September this year you applied to QuestBridge. When did you actually apply to your colleges?
So the early decision deadline usually for colleges, early decision, early action, would be November 1st, yeah. The thing about QuestBridge is that you apply, right, general applicant to QuestBridge, September 28th. You hear back in October, by October 1st to October 10th approximately. And then once you know you're a finalist, then they have you rank a list of their partner schools, and they're ranked with like lots of top tier
What's up with all these partner
colleges.
schools? I didn't know that, but okay, fine.
They have like 36
So you
schools.
chose Columbia as one of your partner schools.
Yeah, so when I ranked schools, I ranked Columbia as number 1, and the way the ranking process works is that your application is sent to these schools, and let's say I applied to 7 schools, right? Like I applied to Columbia, and then I put Yale second, right? And you get, all these schools review your applications just like an early decision application, essentially. But since I got into Columbia, I have no idea if I got into the other schools, because the process is you rank things, and you rank things at a level like beyond binding almost.
So are you applying to Columbia or are you applying to QuestBridge?
So you apply to Columbia through the QuestBridge scholarship portal. It's similar to Common
So you
App.
applied to Columbia through the you're applying through the scholarship.
Right.
Very interesting. Okay.
And then there are cases where some schools will want you to still send in additional information through Common App, right? Like Columbia, for instance, still wanted some more written supplements from me. So what happened was that I just submitted those things through Common App, and whatever extra materials I needed, I just transferred from QuestBridge to Common App. There are some schools that would just review your Common App, that will just review your QuestBridge, sorry, and they won't even bother with Common App, because they realize how much effort this takes and how much time you're putting into it at such an early stage.
Your friends who got QuestBridge, right? You had, how many people do you know got the QuestBridge
Right.
scholarship?
So in my school, 3, including myself, got the QuestBridge scholarship.
All right. What high school are you in?
I go to Townsend here.
All right. So 3 got it. And?
Right, and those 2 are going to Princeton and Yale.
I
Also
want to
full
emphasize
rides.
the kids coming here. These Queens kids, they're getting into the good schools. They're getting these scholarship opportunities. Okay, go ahead. As you were saying.
Right, so the importance of this is just that it's also extremely merit-based, right? So not only do you need to have, are you just fulfilling deadlines, but you need to be fulfilling deadlines with quality material and your grades and your scores and what your teachers are writing about you, all in terms of quality have to reflect somebody who is competitive.
How many, I guess what I want to know, how did you do this? You have so much on your plate, you're a senior, you want to finally relax. How did you actually sit and work on this scholarship application? Because there was more than one piece of paper that you had to do, right?
It's a lot of there are a lot of pieces to this, right? A lot of seniors start learning about how to apply to college after September, and then I kind of had to teach myself how to apply to college before September, because essentially what guidance did at my school was, let's walk you through what you need to do, submit this, fill out all of this
It's one of the best guidance departments.
And you need to fill all this out right before certain dates. They set our deadlines or whatever. Didn't apply to me because I was applying in September, essentially.
Wait, so what you're saying is Townsend Harris, which is amazing with the college app process, you couldn't even follow their deadlines. You had to be ahead of their deadlines.
My deadlines were
for QuestBridge were shifted.
Far ahead of whatever they were.
The school
giving
gave
out.
you. So whatever the school's giving you for deadlines didn't work.
Yeah, so
for the scholarship purposes. Okay, got it.
Luckily, I started like thinking about this in June of my junior year, right? And I started like already putting the pieces together then, so that when it came time for me to really like buckle down in like late August and early September, I could just run through everything and get it done as soon as I could.
So your SAT and everything has to be done before everything you finished it in a junior and an 11th grade, basically.
Okay, so
SATs, using the academic, they need it, right?
They look at your SAT scores and things like that for your QuestBridge application. Some schools will require like other tests, or so like I said, you're applying through QuestBridge, but then some schools will have you go again through Common App. So in order to be considered like, let's say, QuestBridge finalist, right? That's before you get matched to a school. In order to be considered a finalist, they'll look at whatever scores you have at this moment. You need an SAT score, though.
And it should be a good score.
It's required.
It should be, yeah.
Do you need an SAT or ACT?
You can do either. I mean,
but you must have a score, because there's some colleges that
both.
don't want an SAT at all. But I tell the kids, you must have an SAT. I want to just say thank you so much for coming and speaking. And you guys can ask any additional questions that you want, but I'm going to stop at this point.